tactics. We have evacuated about 7 homes. We have put them up through the evening, and we believe they're comfortably situated. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions, but at this point, nobody's hurt. We're slowing this down, and we really want to see if we can still bring this to a safe conclusion for everybody involved.
Are you still in communication with this suspect right now?
Right now, we are not. We lost communication several hours ago. We're trying to reintroduce communications, but it's become a little bit harder with some of the things that have happened over the night.
Do you have reason to believe he's still alive inside the home?
We do. We do. We have seen him not too long ago, but he's not responding in a way that we want to.
Do you know how many homes are without water and power?
We've tried to narrow that. I don't have an exact count, but we've made it as few as possible.
What would you like people who live in this area to know as they wake up and now need to head to work?
We're going to work with them to get them out to do whatever they're going to do. We're going to restore the power and the utilities to their home as quickly as we can. We have to be safe. We believe that we've evacuated the immediate area around the home that the suspect is in, but we will work with everyone in the neighborhood to get them out comfortably for their work should they need to go.
Chief, I didn't believe he chose his house randomly yesterday. It's kind of a random...
We do. We have no indication and no ability to say that he's in any way connected to this home.
Who talked the little boy out of the home? Was it his mom, dispatchers?
It's a combination of phone calls with dispatchers and his mom. His mom was then outside because she came home, and our dispatch center and his mother were able to say, leave the home now, here's where we want you to go. Very astute young 9-year-old boy that simply left the home.
When the suspect was firing at officers through the garage, as you mentioned, was that the only time that he fired shots at police? Or at police?
No, we've had other shots fired at and toward us in an aggressive manner through the evening. We've actually been in the home, and we believe that he knew so. He directed fire in our direction, and we immediately could not identify a threat at that point, so we backed up to get out of what would be then the lane of fire.
Was that when he was firing through the floor?
We do believe that he was firing through the floor and down through the stairwell at our officer.
Chief, this has been going on now for some 15 plus hours. What is the plan to try to get this person out?
We're going to continually, methodically work towards every tactic we have, every strategy that we can deploy. We're working with his family. We're going to continue to try things as they become available. Things will change as the daylight comes up. Again, we're not going to force the situation. Our goal here is to get him to come out safely, peacefully, and bring this to that kind of conclusion. It does us no good to force, push, and make a hand happen when we don't need to. Generally speaking, at this point, time is on our side.
With that being said, any plans to use a family member, anybody talk to them directly?
We did that last night. We didn't let the family members talk to him directly, but we delivered messages from his family to him. We actually held up some of the things that we were doing because one of his demands was he wanted to talk to his sister. So we made arrangements and actually brought his sister from a city outside of the metropolitan area. And once we fulfilled our side of that, he did not fulfill his side of it by coming out to talk to her.
We saw a illumination and heard a loud noise. Can you say anything more about what was going on then?
The flashbangs?
Was it the flashbang or was it something?
About 1:45.
We have used flashbangs. We have actually used some other tools to open up areas of the home that we can get a better visual lane and look. We know the floor plan. We're trying to figure out and isolate him to the point where we can maybe know where he is, to get in and continue the communications, find a way to get him a little narrowed down. But we can't do that when we can't see. So we've opened up some areas, and that may have been what you heard.
Just a tool that allows the scene to be sort of lit up and you to look inside.
It was an explosion
Okay.
that happened that allowed us to have visual access to the home.
Can you shed any light about what is motivating the suspect, or has he shared with you what is going through his mind and why he doesn't want to come out?
Well, I think he's had some challenges in his life, and I think he's at a point where he's a little bit distraught. I don't think there's anything that's happened that would cause or be the need for this, but, you know, people rationalize things differently. He's struggling. I think he's having an emotional crisis. I'm not a counselor or a psychologist, but there are issues that are very deep, and some of them lie within his family.
Chief, you have been working for a long time, since yesterday morning. A lot of your officers have as well. Can you talk about just what they have been going through and some of the complications that have happened overnight?
Well, all these situations are very complicated, and it's important as a law enforcement executive to understand that fatigue plays a part in this. And it's critical that we don't overexpose our officers and allow fresh minds and eyes to begin to take it up. We're very fortunate in this area. We have great partners, and we need to use our partners in these critical times. So at this point, my officers are being pulled out of the situation because many of them are now victims of the shots where he was directing at them. And so it's critical that now we begin the debriefing process to take care of my officers, to make sure they're okay. They are tired. We've been at this now some 14 to 16 hours directly, and that's not even counting the indirect time. So we have people that are watching this. We are taking care of their needs of eating and doing things like that, but there's a point where people just begin to need to rest, and that's where we are.
Is it frustrating? And now that the sun has come up with as far as new strategies, and do you still have more ideas that you can try to get this guy to come out?
We have plenty of ideas, and you know what's interesting is as the sun was beginning to set yesterday, we're trying to decide what complications the darkness would bring and how we would traverse our way through all of that in the night. And so now we're at the point where the night is ending, and we're trying to again calculate what the light is going to bring as far as complications or new strategies. There is always options. We are not going to give up, and we're committed to making sure that this person is able to come out of that home safely. Ultimately, though, that is going to be probably his choice. We do know that he has access to firearms. We do know that he has actively taken shots at police officers, and that is critical that we do not allow him to force our hand.
Can you talk about what's happening right now? Do you know what's going on?
I do believe I know. We're introducing some chemical agents into the home to try to get him to again move.
Those sounds that we heard, is that the sounds of the chemical agents being fired?
They're being introduced into the home, yes.
And you said access to weapons. You believe he came in with a handgun, but he might have found some other weapons in the house. Do you know what he might have found?
We do. We know that he has now access to a couple different weapons that were in the home. Not his, but we believe that he has found them.
Anyone injured?
Not yet. No,
Have you released the suspect's name yet?
we have not. Out of respect for the family and what we're continuing to try to do, we will release that at a time when it is appropriate and more in line with their timeline.
Still saying about 30, Chief? About 30 years of age?
He's about 30, yes. What I will say that we're looking and we're talking to a single white male that's about 30 years age.
Has he made any requests? Food? Any other demands?
The only request that he's made really was early on he wanted to talk to his sister. And we met that. We have met everything that he has asked for and more. And at this point, he has not responded in kind with what he said he would do.